How to overcome fear. The number one thing holding us back from the things that we want to do is fear. You let that cute girl walk by you without saying anything? Well, that's the fear of being rejected. You felt awkward at a party and you didn't have a good time? Well, that's the fear of being judged holding you back. You didn't take that business opportunity that could have given you the life you dreamed of? Well, that's the fear of failure. So the question remains, how exactly do we overcome fear? Well, I have some good news and bad news for you. The bad news is that it's impossible to get rid of fear completely. A couple of years ago, I spent some time with some well-known pickup artists who are essentially men who teach other men how to meet and date women. And they told me that even though they've spoken to tens of thousands of women in their lifetime, been on thousands of dates, they still feel a little bit of nervousness each time they approach a new girl. The fear is still there. It will always be there. The good news is that each time you face your fear and you choose not to back away from it, the fear does in fact get a little bit smaller. So let's say that your fear of approaching women is at an all-time high. It's 100 on a scale of 1 to 100. You can't even look them in the eye, let alone speak to them. So let's say you confront your fear and you choose to go up to her and you have an interaction. It doesn't go well. You stumble over your words, you're somewhat awkward, you don't get her number, but you manage to approach her. The next time you see a girl you find attractive, that fear of rejection will drop ever so slightly to like a 99.5. It's gonna be a little bit less scary. Your brain realizes that you're not gonna die. And as you approach again and again, you slowly chip at that fear until it gets smaller and smaller. You continue to approach women for a couple of weeks and it drops to a 75. You continue to approach women for the entire summer and it drops to like a 50. You manage to do it for an entire year and it drops to like a 25. You still feel a nagging sense of nervousness every time you see a girl you want to approach, but at this point it's not overwhelming. It's not so bad that your hands are shaking and your voice cracks. And guess what? Because you're no longer displaying this many signs of nervousness, the interaction goes a whole lot smoother than when you first started. However, if the next time you see a cute girl and you tell yourself, man, I should approach her, and then you listen to your fear, that fear is going to get a little bit bigger. If you stop facing that fear for a month, it might climb back to a 50. If you stop facing it for a year, it can easily climb back to a 75. Fear is not something that you can permanently get rid of. However, you can keep it at its all-time low by confronting it each and every single time. So that's why you gotta look fear in its eyes. Realize that the choice you make in this moment will determine how big it is the next time you face it. This video was hand-drawn by my friend Mark. He runs a channel called After School where he discusses self-development topics while using his amazing skills as an artist to teach the lesson. I highly suggest you guys to check out his hand-drawn video about why millennials are struggling so hard in the workforce today. There's a link right here as well as in the description box below. Check him out and stay tuned.